And that means the public has to be available.
Thank you.
So. I do want to walk people through just what's in the packet that they got today, so everybody knows what they have in front of them.
Okay.
Ready to go live? We are ready? And that means you're starting the tape.
You'll hear it in just 1 second.
Hmm.
Yes.
We are live.
Yep, we are live.
I'll call us to order, Betty.
Yes, good morning. Let's call them.
Have Mike Curtis, please.
Good morning. Let's call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Oops. I don't have access to it. Okay, sorry. Betty Misaraka,
Present.
Tim Colleen,
Here.
Rolita Haley,
She's excused. An email came out this morning.
Lolita, Tanya Jenkins. Absent. Maria Lambert.
Here.
Hubert Massey,
Hubert, I spoke to Hubert last night and he says he absolutely cannot come today and be in person, but he wishes everyone well and he wishes he could be here with us today.
Barbara Miller, I'm present. Stephen Grady Mohammed,
Present.
Renata Seals.
Present.
So absent are Lolita Haley, Tanya Jenkins, and Hubert Massey.
Thank you. Approval of the agenda?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I may, before we go to that, that's in the packet. And I would like to, people got a fairly thick packet here this morning, so I'd like to walk people through it. They're already starting, but I want to walk people through it so they know what they have in the packet. And hopefully it's in order. So there's 2 pages of an agenda. Then the minutes follow that. That's worth 2 pages. There's a proposed service agreement, Art Institute service agreement, and that goes on for about 4 pages. The PowerPoint for the DIA presentation today is there. After that is a proposed budget that people aren't staying up with me as we go through. A proposed budget is in your packet. After that is the proposed meeting schedule for next year. And then I added in, just so people have them, and it'll be important in the discussion today, the state law that regulates art authorities, that enable art authorities. That's back there, as well as the bylaws of this group and our articles of incorporation is the last thing. The articles of incorporation, you'll see some red on it. It's what's called a strikeout version. We did an amendment to it. The commission did.
Oh, the commission.
The commission did, yeah, because the commission approves the articles. And so we made some changes and it was the strikeout version that made it onto our website. So we're gonna have to clear that up and have, it's called a strike. It's what lawyers do. They get a legal document and they type all this stuff in, they cross this out and they add this in red and then they go, okay, this is the strikeout version. So we have to change that. And I also put in here just a quick little thing on encyclopedic museums. The state law and our articles of incorporation refer to encyclopedic art institutes. And it has a meaning to it. And it's what's referenced in the state law.
Excuse
For-
me, where is that you're speaking of?
It's a 1-page
Okay,
thing.
all right, thank you.
Yes. So we just have all these documents. Do I have an extra package? We had an extra package,
I don't know. He's passing them around.
who needs an extra
I
package?
don't think I don't need to see it.
Oh,
Neither. One of our packages.
there should be another package there, Betty.
Thank you.
No, this is my package here. I
This
think.
is good. I have what I need. Thank you.
You got it? Cause I left, there should be, we have 6 people here.
It's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, but there should be 2, 3 more copies. I don't know what happened to, of the packet, so. Okay, we'll see as we go, and I have extras that I'm printing, so. Madam Chair, thank you for that. I just wanted to walk people through
Thank
the
you. Thank you.
packet. Mhm,
Thank you, Commissioner Colleen, for keeping us so organized. I appreciate that.
trying.
Approval of the agenda. We have the approval.
I would like to amend the agenda.
Okay,
I would like to add the parking issue. It's not on this agenda. And I'd like it, we have been talking about parking for 10 years.
Mhm.
And I think the moment has come when we need to make a decision. So I would like to add it to this agenda. Is there a second?
I'll support that.
so it's been moved in second.
Madam Chair, quick discussion. I think in our last meeting, we did discuss the parking issue. If we want to go over it again. Oh, I'm sorry, no, the motion failed. Nothing from me.
So. Where do you want to add that to the end or?
I think item 5 under new business
Okay,
would be the appropriate agenda place. We have to vote.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Motion carried. So, under C, approval of the August the 28th meeting minutes.
No, we have to approve the amended agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
We added something to it. Now we have to approve it in whole.
I'll make that motion to approve the amended agenda.
any second?
I'll second it.
Moved in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Right.
Motion carried.
We have an agenda.
So now we're at approval of the August the 28th, 2023 meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Support.
Has been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. Wasn't here.
You have one abstention. All the, so it's been moved in second. All those in approve.
The
Motion
agenda?
carried. Yes,
So,
the meeting minutes.
Minutes.
the minutes. Yeah,
Been moved in second. Any,
thought we just voted that.
I thought we,
Okay.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Report from,
We do have one abstention there on the minutes.
yes,
Maria Lambert.
Marie Lambert.
2,
abstained.
3, 4, 5. So it's 5 for, none against, 1 abstention, just for recording it properly.
And report from the chair. I don't have a formal report because I've been under the weather for a while. But I just want to say that I feel honored to be a part of such a wonderful group that we have here at the table. And for all those that have worked so hard, particularly the people at the DIA, Salvador and Julie, they have been wonderful to work with. And I think through all of us working together makes life together, and it makes life together better for the community at large. And I just wonderful hope that we go on and on beyond what we do now. And with that, I can't say any more about it. We just appreciate each other and appreciate the DIA. We have the best one in the country. So God bless us all and keep us going. Okay, now unfinished business.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I'd like to raise one item under unfinished business.
Please.
Thank you. Sitting to my left here is Todd Perkins. We voted to hire Mr. Perkins as the attorney. It's the Perkins Law Group,
Yes.
the attorney for the authority board.
Mhm.
Apparently sometime in June or July, you signed a contract with us, so you're on board.
Yes, it was, I think it was later in the summer months.
Yeah.
But I believe, and
Yeah,
you did say that. I believe it was later in the summer and I have a blank contract, but I don't have the signed one with me.
but there is a signed one.
I believe there's a signed one.
Yeah.
Yes, I know that I signed a contract and emailed it somewhere this summer. Yeah.
What, did you sign? the
So I think,
contract?
Madam Chair, Attorney Perkins is gonna forward that to the authority, the signed contract.
Okay,
I haven't seen it. I don't know if anybody's
These,
seen it.
my signature, I
Yeah, yeah.
signed one.
And we'll
yes.
have to see if it's countersigned,
Right.
and then probably for legal, at our first meeting next year, that contract will come before this board.
well, do you know where the contract is now?
Final approval. It's in his office.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have a blank copy. with
That's
me, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I think until it's all formally signed by all parties, then we'll look at it at our first meeting next year for approval.
Well, I've heard so much about Mr. Perkins. I'm very happy to meet you across the table, sir.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you.
Come by my office after the meeting. I'll tell you more.
Not the real.
Madam Chair, discussion?
Excuse me,
Perkins?
Commissioner Colleen, are we adding that to the agenda for our next meeting that we will examine that contract?
If we get a signed one, yes, it will be on the next agenda. But for today, under unfinished business, since we've talked about it before, I just want to introduce them to everybody.
Thank you for doing that.
So could we have a contract to review? We could make copies and review it for.
Make
next-
sure people can hear you. These mics don't have a long range.
Get a copy of that contract to review for next meeting. It seems like we should be doing something now as far as signing the contract for, because we have work for him to do. Can we get copies and today's,
I have a blank copy that you can have and,
yeah,
we'll
we'll make copies. Maybe Octavia could make some copies for us or someone.
Maybe he could send it to me.
Madam Chair, that was my understanding as well. I thought that we had pre-approved that we were going to engage Attorney Perkins, and today was supposed to be any type of discussion that we might have with him of our expectations and things of that nature going forward.
Yes, you're correct in that.
So if we have a signed contract, that means that or at least one party has entered into an agreement. Have we signed it on our end? This is my question.
I
You
can't
can-
say that affirmatively, but the last I thought we had a signed contract, but I know that I had signed a contract sometime this summer. Once I received it, actually had some conversation with Mr. Colleen prior to that, but I'll do the best I can to get, I'm gonna have my office walk it over. I'm across the street and see if
Sure.
they can walk that over right now.
Okay.
Okay.
So Madam Chair, can we open the floor for any questions for Attorney Perkins or anyone that may have their perspective on what they would like to see him do for us? And then at that point, I think we'll be better informed as it relates to, are we going to truly engage him or not? And if we are, I would think that we could agree to that today.
Excuse me,
Mhm.
that sounds okay. How would you like to proceed on that then now?
If you wanted to open the floor, Madam Chair, just to other members who may want to share with Attorney Perkins what they feel he will provide us, I can start if you'd like.
Yes, I wondered if you wanted to wait till that contract got over or go now. That's what I was referring to. He said they were going to walk it over.
Understood. If they're going to walk it over, I can wait, ma'am.
Is there any other?
Madam
Congress-
Chair, so then the discussion will be at the next meeting, if it's gonna be walked over today and then sent to the board members. We review it and then we can discuss it the next time.
I'm not sure, is that when do we want to start that? I thought we wanted to start it earlier. This would be 3 months later before we start it. I mean,
I'm
I don't
just
know.
asking.
That would
I
be
don't
my
know.
concern, Madam Chair, as well, unless we decided,
So we don't know. That's
Sure.
what we're discussing. I don't
unless
know.
we decided to have a special meeting to approve Attorney Perkins as our attorney and his contract.
Madam Chair, who
Yeah.
wrote the contract? Did-
General counsel, for Wayne County.
Is it very long? Is it something we could glance over today?
Probably. Let me get on my phone and make that happen.
I'm gonna have this over shortly. It's 8 pages.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
here's where we're at. At our last meeting, 2 names were put forward for possible counsel for this. This group voted Mr. Perkins.
Mhm.
mhm.
What
That's
was
good.
not done at that meeting was who's gonna go get the contract signed? Who's responsible for this to get it back? That was like 3-4 months ago. So here we are today. This board has already expressed Mr. Perkins to be our attorney, but we don't have an attorney until we have a signed contract.
So if I could just interject here.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I don't think Mr. Perkins would feel good about doing his attorney stuff without a signed contract. So we got to get that done.
I can proceed. I mean, we oftentimes give away give away more than what we get in. So I wouldn't want to be obstreperous to whatever
Yeah.
you had to go forward, whether this is
But that's where we are. We voted to hire Mr. Perkins. We did not have a mechanism for getting that contract signed, who was responsible, who's going to do it. But yes, it is a contract, a standard contract that Wayne County Corporation Council uses when we hire outside attorneys.
Well, I apologize because I wasn't
No,
here
it's
at the
okay.
last meeting.
Yeah,
so-
but none of us have seen that yet.
Okay,
So, that would be the thing now. We've already approved it. The chair can countersign it when it comes over here. We've already approved that we're hiring him. And then, yeah. So hopefully even later today, you can be the attorney.
Yes,
right?
If I could.
okay.
What happened, it was actually 2 meetings ago that we all decided to go with Mr. Perkins and that law firm. And then in the last meeting, that is when Mr. Perkins did receive the writing, the write-ups, the contract to be signed. It was sent over by Sue Hammoud from General Counsel. So we can get that on our end, but he said that he's gonna have it walked over, so it has been done.
Okay.
And he has signed it. So we just, at this time, we were supposed to be doing final approval. So once we go over that contract, we still can make that happen. So the process has been rolling, it has been done. And the logistics of who was going to write it and all of that, all of it has been done. So we're just waiting to approve the contract after he has already agreed to what was in the contract. We're agreeing, we're just supposed to be looking it over to see if we're given final approval, but the work had been done. So we're just waiting on him to bring the contract over, and I should have had that in this agenda. I apologize for that, but we'll have that before the meeting is over for final approval today.
thank you.
Thank you.
Is everyone satisfied on that subject?
Madam Chair, I still think the board needs an opportunity to review the contract, to discuss what we've entered into and how it affects us as board members, how we can use corporate counsel. And I still think that the board needs to review the contract and have an opportunity to discuss it as a board. And what does this mean to us? How does it affect our decision making?
Can we do that today?
We don't have the contract.
They're walking it over, he said.
Okay. Then we'll have to amend the agenda.
Okay. All right, so
We do have item G, such other matters, should it get here. perfect place for it.
Okay, I will accept that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Colleen.
All those in favor? Any opposition to that, whether?
Well, we don't have to vote on that.
No, but I just want everyone to be
Yeah.
satisfied.
So,
We'll see if it gets here.
I
We'll
think,
see if it's a signed copy and you
Okay.
can countersign it, and then we have a contract.
okay. We're on D, report from the chair,
No. New business, Madam Chair.
a new business.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Oh, it's on the back. So, no, it's not. Oh, here it is, unfinished business. Any unfinished business?
We just did that.
Okay, new business.
one,
No, unfinished, new business.
Item 1 under new business, Madam Chair.
I don't have it here.
Yeah, you do.
I can't find it.
right here.
Okay. Discussion of the Detroit Institute of Arts 2024 program plan. Who is leading that discussion? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see everyone here. Everyone, we got here early today. I said, I think it's because the cold weather's making us all move a little bit faster. So today, so this is our December meeting, and traditionally we review a program plan for the upcoming year. So I know that we have conversations around a service agreement that will inform our work over the next, the upcoming 9 years. But of course, you know, at this time, we had to align all of our work so that we could present a plan for what we're doing in 2024. So I have a PowerPoint to share today. I'm not sure. Okay, so I put printed copies of the PowerPoint in your packet. So if the technology isn't working today, we can go ahead and just go through printed copies today. So in your folders, you will find, I don't have a copy of this. In your folders, you'll find kind of a longer narrative report on what we're planning to do in 2024 at this time. So we'll just walk through the PowerPoint, and if you have any questions along the way, this is just sort of a brief overview. There's a lot more detail in the report in your folders. So okay, my slides are not in the order I was expecting. I made some changes over the weekend. So if you go to slide 3, this is basically the outline for our service agreement programming. So you'll see benefits for Wayne County residents fall under 4 categories: free general admission, a school program, senior program, and community partnership programs. So this is the framework for the work that we're going to be doing in the upcoming year, and it is the framework that we have used over the last 10 years. In our conversations about a new service agreement across all 3 counties, it has been agreed on that this is what is going to inform our work through the end of the current service agreement term. So a little bit about the school program. If you turn to slide 4, of course, we're going to offer gallery teacher guided and self-guided field trips to the museum. We have a commitment in Wayne County to serve 16,000 students. I'm happy to say that I think we have since the beginning of the pandemic this year, I believe we've met that goal. In past years, we've met and exceeded that goal year over year. So it's good to have our students back into the museum. It's good to be able to meet that goal again. But we are seeing that there are some schools that are not necessarily interested in coming back to the museum. There's a lot of different reasons for that. Some of them are just, you know, distance challenges. Others have lost learning from the pandemic and aren't taking field trips. So we're confident that in the next year, we'll be able to meet that number, but we're also looking at something new that will help us deliver a museum experience to students who can't necessarily come to the museum. So we've talked about this across all 3 counties, and we're working on launching an in-school program pilot. There's a little bit of detail in the report on that you have in your folders, but this is something we're going to talk about every time we come here. We're looking at launching this in-school program pilot over the next 3 years, launching the pilot, evaluating the pilot, making recommendations for a further rollout of it. So this is something we're going to be talking about a lot. We'll probably be delivering a separate report on this. This is a significant investment for the museum. But as we've been talking about how to better serve and how to best serve Wayne County residents, this is the one thing that keeps coming up over and over again. So we're excited to be really digging into this work to bring a museum experience to some of those schools who might not necessarily come to the museum. So you'll be hearing more on that. Of course, we continue to do our educator professional development. We have a full roster of things that teachers and educators can come to the museum to learn about, help them make those connections so that their field trip lasts far beyond just their day in the museum. So the teachers have the tools to bring some of what they've learned and what their students learned right into the classroom. So we have a big roster of those for the year. And then we also work on an individual basis with schools or districts that might want to get involved in something really specific to advance some learning outcomes in their classroom. Moving on to the senior program.
Before we,
Sure.
do you want questions as you finish each?
As we go through, it would be great.
Make
So
sure you
this
get
would be a
close
good
to that
time.
mic, Barb. You're too far away.
Okay.
Public can't hear you.
Are you building into the program an opportunity for teachers and students to evaluate their experience? We have the presentation of the DIA. This is what we've done. This is what we presented. But what feedback are you building in from the students? That's my first question. My second question is, I talked to Pete Kudlak from Van Buren Schools after the superintendent's experience at the DIA. He raved about that experience, but he said the people who really make the difference in school systems are the directors of curriculum and instruction, and that each school has at least one of those. And he felt that they should be cultivated and they should be contacted because they are directly responsible for school experiences. So those are my 2 comments.
Sure. So thank you for passing that along. I don't know if if that suggestion came to Tony or not, but Tony and his team did have Wayne Reesa meeting. I'll let you go through that.
So there was some discussion about that. I would just say that not every school has that director of curriculum, but there are departments that are within the schools that we reach out to. We think the more important folks for that are the teachers. So we make sure that we connect with them. Certainly the program is based in our state curriculum. To answer your first question, Barb, yes, there are evaluations built into the program.
And we're not getting any feedback from the evaluations. The board is not getting any
Are
feedback.
we talking about the in-school program?
No, I'm talking about whatever program that there should be an opportunity for the participants to evaluate. This was effective. This was terrible. This was important. Whatever their we need some feedback.
Yes. Yeah, and we'll provide that. So we have an in-house evaluation team. Every field trip, there's an evaluation that goes back with the teacher. So we will pull a report and send that to the group. So And as far as curriculum directors, I mean, I'm keeping a note on that. We don't exclude anybody. So if that's a really important group, we can contact Wayne Risa and get that list of people and make sure that they're communicated to. We can invite them to the museum and do kind of an overview of our programs. And I'm not sure if any of them came to the Wayne Risa meeting that Tony's team hosted, but certainly we'll keep them in the loop. So thank you for that.
Could I ask a question here, please?
Yeah.
I think seeing is believing, and I know that to go out and to take it to the students is one thing, but for them to come down is a whole new, and what would it cost to have people, and what is why can't they come down? Is it a lack of money to bring them down, or what would you think that includes?
So, we hear a lot of different things from teachers about, why they, might not come down on a field trip. And, some of it just has to do with not being able to get support to come down, not being able to take that learning time away from like a full day, takes a while to come down to the museum. And then some of them are just far. I mean, and that's part of a field trip. It takes a long time. So we want students to come to the museum. We want teachers to arrange these field trips, but we know that there are students who may not have teachers who are going to do this. So this is a way for us to bring in experience to them. And, through everything that we do, we promote all of service agreement benefits. I mean, hopefully these kids, whether they come to the museum or we go see them in the classroom, they will remember that. They'll take that message home. They'll encourage their parents to bring them down to the museum. We do reimburse bus or pay for buses. So that's not an issue. Transportation is an issue, but I think it's time, support at the school level for it. So this is not in place of coming down to the museum, but it's for students who might not get exposure to the museum.
Do you have a record or have we received anything showing what schools come down, or the ones that not what the schools are, but how many come down as opposed to how many do not?
Sure. And I can bring a report on that at year end and half year. We bring the list of all the schools that come. We brought reports where we showed which school districts aren't coming, and we've done some special targeting to make sure if they're not coming that we understand the reasons why, or at least giving them the information and encouraging them to come.
I'd like to see that too, because some of the commissioners could put some pressure on some of these schools.
Yep. So we do it at half year and we do it year end. So in our spring meeting, you'll get a summary of every school that came in 2023. And then we'll also give you a list of the districts that weren't represented in that.
I think that's a wonderful opportunity for them to see.
Mhm.
Seeing is believing. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I could build on that point, because one of the questions that I'll always have, Julie, for all of the components of your service level agreement is, what are we doing to try to drive more engagement in the county, in the community? So I know we've discussed in the past, maybe a survey or a focus group, or maybe direct meeting with some schools that do not participate. And I would like to know what you all are doing to try to drive more engagement for each one of these components.
So the school program, I mean, that is in Tony's area. So I know that there's a lot of one-on-one outreach that goes on. We have our EduNews newsletter that is sent to a pretty extensive list of educators. I believe that goes out once a month, Tony. And that gives, we're always promoting field trips, but it also promotes all of our educator PD. If we have any new field trip offerings. So EduNews is really, I would say, the primary way. Of course, we support everything through social media. Having the Wayne Risa superintendent's meeting at the museum, that's something that we did. It's relationships that we're building, and we'll continue to make that opportunity available. We're happy to take suggestions. If anyone has a suggestion, a connection that you'd like to advance to us, we're happy to take meetings, have people down at the museum, let them see, like Betty said, I mean, there's nothing like seeing everything that's available at the museum in the museum.
And also, Julie, I'll just remind you that we had that Educators Night Out this past September, which invited educators from all of the tri-counties to come and see what the offerings are in our cultural district. And so a lot of educators came into the museum at that time and indeed offered suggestions as to programming and what they'd like to see in their schools. So we had that as well. We're really,
Excuse me.
we had in the museum proper, we had just under 500 who came.
Oh, it's wonderful. Could we be notified, the board members, if we wanted to come down at the same time and see what's going on?
Sure, I guess that's fine. I don't have any objection to that.
Okay, would you do?
This was the first one, so we are hopeful that they will decide to do it again because it was very valuable and brought a lot of teachers in.
That's wonderful. Very good. Thank you. Okay,
And just before you go on, Julia, I'd also like to add that as a result of that superintendent's meeting, there were a lot of visits from superintendents who came with their staffs back to the museum afterwards. So we had that as well.
it's wonderful.
Moving on to the senior program. So for the upcoming year, we're going to continue to do, of course, docent-led and self-guided museum visits. We provide group transportation for 25, if a group has 25 or more. If they don't have 25, we've also offered the opportunity to sort of team up with another senior center nearby so they can make that 25 number. We launched this fall a new offering for seniors called Melodies at the Museum. And I know that I've sent this group information on that. Wildly successful. Our seniors definitely love to come out and hear music. So much so that we had to add a second performance in December to accommodate all the groups. We had 14 buses last week, and I think we're due to have about 14 more this Wednesday. So we're excited to have our seniors back in the museum and also to be able to add, additional offerings. Not all of our seniors have the mobility to walk through the museum. So we knew that, doing guided, tours of the museum wasn't going to capture the ability of every senior group. So Melodies at the Museum is really taking care of that. We continue to do behind the scene art talks out in the community, either virtual or in person, for people who want to assemble a group at a senior center and hear more about part of the collection. And then we've been out at senior fairs. I think we did 2 or 3, just spreading the news that way. We have a great new video of the interior of the museum that we set up at our senior fairs now. And it's turned out to be really helped us engage with people who stop by our table and want to know what's going on at the museum and what they can participate in. We have an extensive list, all of the Wayne County Senior Centers, plus known church groups and community groups that cater to seniors. And we continue to reach out to them probably on a monthly basis. Our group services sends them information. We also have a postcard that's going out now every 3 months quarterly, giving them all of the bookings for Melodies at the Museum. So we know our seniors like things through snail mail. So we continue to do that. And then we have flyers that we distribute via email because we hope that community centers will post those flyers up. If seniors want to come to Melodies at the Museum in a group trip, they can, but if they just want to drive down with a friend or two, it's an opportunity for them to take advantage of the senior program without having to be affiliated with a group too.
If I could,
Yes,
Chair,
please.
behind the scenes art talks, do you have a list of,
Yes.
and how can we access that list?
So that list is online and I can also send it to you. But yeah, there's a whole list. I think it's 10 or a dozen different art talks.
Thank you.
And in your year-end report, I always send you a list, and in your half-year report, there's always a list of every group that booked one. Same with every group that comes down to the museum for, you'll see those lists over and over, but all of the topics, certainly I'll send that out. And then the
Madam Chair,
last.
sorry to interrupt.
Go.
Julie, also, we had introduced you to Randy Walker,
Mhm.
our Veterans Affairs Director. Please roll him into these things as well. I
Yes.
don't see where we could incorporate veterans in this other than maybe the senior programs. So if we could make sure that he's engaged as well, so we're getting seniors into this as well, that'd be great.
Yes, he is on our contact list, and I'll make sure that we keep him up to date on everything that we're doing for seniors and.
You may have
And
to
for the
give him 2
community.
phone calls.
Hmm?
You may have to give him 2 phone calls.
Okay, I mean, Ian and I went to his office and had a good conversation. We spent about 45 minutes, so
Good.
hopefully he's kind of up to date on what we do, but there's nothing like being reminded. So we'll
Yes.
do that. Thank you for that introduction too. It was very helpful. And then moving on to community partnership programs, of course, Inside Out, continues to be one of our biggest programs that happen right out in the community. So you'll see the list of the places that we're planning to be in 2024. We recently did a refresh at the airport. So there's some new images there and a few were retired. We're also looking at changing the signage just to update that at the airport. I get so many comments and so many people take their picture and send it to me on my cell phone. So thank you, everyone, and Renata in particular for helping, and Betty helping make that connection to the airport. It continues to really, I think, raise awareness and give people a little taste of the museum. So the application, as you know, goes out in the summer. So these are the communities that we'll be working with in 2024. And then around the time that these go up, we'll be putting out the application for 2025. So this is a program that kind of rolls all year long.
The only question that I have, when you say the city of Wayne, Dearborn, Northville,
I don't think your mic's on.
I think I just talk a little bit soft. When I see the city of Wayne, Dearborn, Detroit, Northville, Redford Township, where are these locations? Is very broad to just say the city and we have
Yeah.
Inside Out there. How can we see that? Where can we go and see these things?
So right now we're planning and we work with, and I'll let Ian jump in if he wants to fill in a little bit, but we plan with whoever submits the application. It could be, they basically have the autonomy to sort of choose the areas that they want to highlight in their city. And we go through, the community engagement managers go out, take a look at them, suggest works that could go there. There'll be maps. Those are all posted online when the work goes up. Usually everything's up kind of by the end of May. So there'll be maps available online. But right now we're in the planning process with the communities. And I don't know if Ian, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, and there's a planned orientation for all the partners I think it'll happen in February or March prior to the launch so that all the communities can get together. And by that time, they'll have kind of a final list. Right now, they show the community engagement team around the community. So they have more sites than we could actually install in. And then there's some decisions made and none of that's been signed off yet by the partners. So there's no final list, but when we have that, eventually it'll all end up online, a map of every one of these communities and all the locations will be on our website.
I was just wondering if you could bring that to the next meeting. I'm sure that
for
it
sure.
will be out at that time. I just want to see it without going on the
Yeah.
website. My
Mhm.
navigation skills are not that great
Yeah.
for websites.
No,
so-
we can print those maps and add it to the packet. For
Okay,
next time.
thank you.
For sure.
I have a question, please. What communities have you done this in so far?
Many communities.
See, I don't know, and that's why if I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we can bring a list. We look at, this program, I mean, we've been doing it for over 10 years now. And we've been in, I want to say we've been in every community. I mean, we look when we get the applications and they come in, you know, these are organic, you know, we send out the call and people apply for it, but then we also take a look at who applied and we look at the map of Wayne County and we try to make sure that there's a good spread. So we may reach out to a specific community and say like, hey, how about it? You know, if we have like not a lot in the downriver area, I think Woodhaven was a reach out this year. I have a feeling that was one that we may have pursued just to make sure that we have a good spread because we don't want it all clustered in one area. So, but I can send you the list of all the communities we've
Reason I
been
ask,
in and
because I don't know
every
if-
year.
I don't know if they've ever been to Grosse Pointe. That's why. And
Oh,
if I-
yeah,
But if
we've
I
been,
live there, I should know that they're coming there, you know, so I'm trying to say, maybe you
Sure.
could connect us
Hmm.
with and if I have somebody, my daughter lives in another community, I would like her to know about it.
sure.
So.
And
could
we've been in all of the Grosse Points over the years. We don't do the same community year after year though. So we didn't receive any applications from the Grosse Points, but we've been there recently. We usually try to put like at least 3 years between installations in the same community. But I can send you the list. And if you have someone that we should put on our outreach list, let me know. We'll put them on there.
in Oakland, and you do Oakland County too?
Amico.
Because my daughter lives in Farmington
Yeah.
Hills and she's never heard about it either. So that's why maybe we should. I don't know how, we don't want to interfere with what you're doing, but maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to solve it. So. And just bringing up points.
Sure. And we've been in Farmington, we've been in Farmington Hills. I think we were there recently and within the last year or two, I know Farmington was on our list. So, but yeah, I can bring that list of every year and everywhere we've been. It'd be great to look at it with the group. And
I think
if
so.
you see, if there's someone that you see that is not on there, hook us up.
I'd like to comment about Inside Out in the community of Belleville. It was so effective. This year, I think they just started this program, the DIA just started this program where they do telephone calls to everybody to the leadership on the Inside Out program. So we had a call, and there were, I think, 4 or 5 of us online about how to set it up, how to set up a bicycle trip, and explaining to the leadership how the program worked. I thought that was very effective. And I wanted to comment and tell you that it's something that should continue
Mhm.
because we got a good response because of the training that we got before Inside Out came.
Oh, thank you
I
for
would also
that.
like to make a comment through the chair. This is probably our 3rd one that we've had over the 10 years. The last one was about 7 years ago, 17, I think. And it goes over so well. The last one was in our park. It was newly refurbished with grant money and we had all these pieces throughout the walkways. And we got so much positive feedback there. And we did have a bike trip one year also. I just love this program. So I have
I
to
do
tell
too.
you. Yeah.
We're looking forward to being Romulus. I know there's
Yes.
great things happening in Romulus this year too. And then if you look through the report, there's a lot of other community partnership programs that we do every year that we plan on continuing. The Wayne County High School Art Exhibition, our Friend of Community Exhibition, Concert of Colors. I probably don't need to read all of these, but you can see more on that. And then the last thing that we're really going to focus on in Wayne County this year is putting more structure to our Partners in Public Art program. Hopefully everyone got my email about the Wyandotte Partners in Public Art, the mural. And we plan on doing 2 of those in Wayne County this year, but putting a little bit of structure to like how we select communities and just a little more structure to that program. So I'll be, talking to this group about that and giving you some ideas about how we'd like to approach it. But we'd like to do 2 in each county this year, including Wayne. So that's pretty much just an overview of community partnership programs. I know I have a little bit about a few exhibitions just in the first quarter of the year that Judith might look through, talk through with the group. But if there are any other questions before we move on to that?
I'm sorry, but just for time purposes, we have things that we have to vote on, and we have a couple of members that do have to leave. So if we can pause that so that we could get the things that we need to vote on out of the way, if Madam Chair, if that's okay with you.
Okay, so we're leaving that.
And this is the whole service thing because we're about to go.
So they all have the old service agreement? So we're pausing to go to number 2, approval of a service agreement with Detroit Institute of Arts. Am I correct there?
Yes.
Okay, so we're on number 2. Do we all have the service agreement in front of us?
The new one.
Mhm.
Does everyone have it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Is
Who-
what was passed out the same as what was in the packets?
I'm
Or
not
the-
sure. Mine are all mixed up, so I can't
Right, here's
speak to
the-
that.
What was passed out was the legal agreement.
This one right here.
For our.
No, not the legal agreement. The
Service level agreement.
the service agreement.
So what I passed out before we approved the new service agreement, there's the old service agreement because we're just now seeing it today.
Oh, you included the old one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the legal,
That's
well,
the
you
old-
already have the packet. That's why I didn't give it to
Yeah,
you,
okay, I got it.
for Todd Perkins.
I got it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So
Okay.
everyone has it, the legal service
Want to make
agreement?
sure.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes, please.
can I move that we suspend our approval of the service level agreement until our new attorney has had an opportunity to take a look at the old one and the new one and give us a legal opinion regarding them?
I have no problem with that. Does anyone else? And will that be today?
I don't think it would be today because I
yeah.
think he needs time to be able to review them both.
Okay.
So I'd like to make that motion.
Would you restate the full motion, please?
Yes, ma'am. I'd like to move that we delay our approval of the service level agreement until our attorney has had an opportunity to take a look at the old service level agreement and the new one, and then to give us his perspective and his opinions.
At a special meeting, is there a time frame that we need to follow? Or time limit?
Would that require a special meeting or just the next meeting? And
I'm okay with it being
I
the
think he
first
has-
meeting in 2024. I'd like to hear from some other members.
Certainly.
Go ahead.
If I may, I apologize for thank you. Thank you.
As long as. the green light-
Yes, I apologize for interjecting. I look at this service agreement and it expires December 31st of 2023. So,
Same.
how the agreement would continue unless there's some other agreement in place, it would perhaps require a special meeting. But that would, and secondly, I would be asking questions of board members as to concerns that they may have, that anything that would be about these agreements, that they may have questions, so that the next time we did meet, I'd be able to answer those questions beyond just giving a general legal opinion. I think it also needs the input and buy-in from the board members as far as just concerns you may have, just that you want addressed.
good point. So how do we want to proceed with this then? Because we can't do it before the end of the year. This is almost the end of December, right? Or could we
Well,
do it
I would-
again?
I would only need, I imagine myself and my team could do this within the week.
Okay.
And be available at your call.
Okay, what is the pleasure of the board to do this? We want to certainly interface with you. So
Mhm.
how can we proceed?
So Madam Chair, so based on Attorney Perkins' assessment, if we came back together in a week on the 18th for a special meeting to discuss that, maybe that would give us enough time to go over that. If folks are available, I can make myself available.
Commissioner Colleen, what about this, this
Well, I didn't
office?
have my hand up.
No.
But but there's two ways to deal with this. The agreement does expire at 11/59, December 31st of this year. Meaning January 1, we would have no agreement. And that also raises a legal issue. If there's no agreement in place, then can money be exchanged, right? And that's kind of up in the air. So to me, there's two ways to do it. We either take the current agreement and I don't want to rush this. I don't want to are we going to be ready in a week? First of all, we're going to get everybody here. I don't want to rush this. So I would suggest one or two things. Either we extend the current agreement for 3 months with the agreement of the DIA, or we approve the one that's before us that's been talked about in our little subgroup, and then that can be amended. And so we put something in place for January 1. If there's further discussions to have, then that can be, and I would ask the DIA, then if we pass the agreement, the new agreement that's before us, that can be amended. And is the DIA willing to follow that kind of have an amendment come maybe early next year? Is that something the DIA would be fine with? You're the other party to this.
So the first agreement was amended twice in two very particular cases.
Mhm.
One of them was to an amendment to change the sort of the legal status of to acknowledge the legal status of the DIA after the grand bargain. The second amendment was to establish protocols for meetings. So the amendments to the original agreement weren't amendments to services or programs. So I guess if we're talking about creating an agreement and then amending it, an agreement we haven't created yet, and then talking about amending it, I would say it needs to be within the confines of what we've traditionally amended before.
Yes.
I think if I may, I think the easiest, to the extent that the parties would agree, would be just extending the current agreement. I think it's operating and you are operating. And because the director does bring up a good point, is how much it's a very general word of amending. So where are we going to be amending this agreement, and what are and that would go to the concerns that the authority has. So that would be part of the whole amendment portion. So if we're talking about looking at taking the caution and placing caution on this, I think extending the agreement as it stands might actually behoove this process. But again, we have to do this before the end of the year. I will be capable of providing any answers to any questions if we want to do that. So you have, I think, 3 options, but I think the idea of approving and then having an agreement to amend, it leaves the DIA in a situation like, okay, well, we've traditionally only amended in these areas. Is that what the amendment's going to be, only to these areas? But then the authority would say, well, we didn't want to be restricted to those 2 areas. So, both sides have some concerns there. So if you adopt a new agreement, you really are just essentially, as I looked at it in the 10 minutes, it's essentially an extension of the original agreement in any way. But if you extended that agreement, I think it gives you more time. Some written documentation would have to be put in place as far as an amendment extending the current agreement for 3 months or try to do it before the end of the year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Would your board,
Yes, please.
have to approve that before we could do anything, correct? The extension?
No. Our board doesn't need to look at the extension as long as the current agreement is extended the way it is. I think that's okay with us. I mean,
Yes.
I just wanted to agree with Mr. Perkins. We did have a subcommittee. I was in the subcommittee, but the presentation of the new agreement didn't come to me until about Thursday or Friday. And then it was just presented to you guys today, so that I think it would be in our best interest as the authority to have an extension for a couple of months so that we can go over it and look at the fine tuning, anything that we wanted to include that was not included, or things that are being stated that we might overlook. I think it's absolutely imperative that we talk to our lawyer and do this the right way, because we are talking about the next 10 years. So if we could have an extension of what's already going on for the next 3 months to make sure that we are putting the right things in place for the next 10 years, I think that would be a small ask.
Okay, so how do we proceed with that then, Commissioner?
By a motion, Madam Chair.
Absolutely.
And I will make the motion to extend the current service agreement for a 3-month period beginning January 1, because it expires on December 31. I should also note that later on the agenda, we have to approve our meeting schedule for next year. And on the proposed schedule, February 12th would be our first meeting of next year, basically 3 months from today. So there if everybody's on it, there we can have it come to our February 12th meeting for the new service agreement. But for now, Madam Chair, I would move that
Madam Chair,
we,
point of order?
Yes.
can I finish a motion?
No, just a moment.
No,
I
can't.
have a motion on the floor. I'd like to withdraw my motion so you can
Okay.
make your motion.
Okay, yeah, because there was never a second. Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
Yeah.
Procedure.
Yes.
So since there is no motion on floor, I move that we extend the current service agreement for 3 months with the DIA beginning January 1, 2024.
I second
Is
that.
there a second to
I
that?
second that motion.
It's moved in second. All those that approve,
Aye.
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 any of those that oppose? Motion carried.
And Madam Chair, I think we will have to get some acknowledgement from the DIA. Maybe in a letter form or something that they're cool with that. We can't extend on their behalf. Because there's two parties.
yeah, I wonder if we should have a legal document,
What?
a legal document that reflects the extension, so we can sign both parties. I think that would be in the best interest. So is the lawyer of the Arts Authority producing the document? Would you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
And then once,
Put them to work.
yeah, one signed by,
No.
one signed by the chair of the Arts Authority, our Executive Director of Public Affairs and Community Engagement, Julie McFarland, would sign it as well. And we'll have a 3-month extension starting January 1st, 2024.
And who at the DIA needs to receive that? We're gonna have a legal document.
Julie,
Okay,
Julie,
we're gonna have a legal document that our chair will sign.
yes.
Yes.
So we'll have to get that to you, Betty, and then that will go to Julie for the DIA to respond to.
When I get it, I'll carry it in hand to them downtown.
Sure.
Ken,
Have
one
lunch.
question, Madam Chair.
Yes.
It would be good to know when your lawyer might think this document will be ready, so we are ready to proceed. It's the time is,
Oh, yeah.
the holidays are around the corner, and just want to make sure that
Oh.
if we can have a document in the next 48 hours, that would be very helpful.
Well, I'll get that to the chairperson by the end of the day.
Okay, wonderful,
And the chairperson can forward that to you.
wonderful.
Thank
Thank you so much.
I'll take it up to you then.
So we need to move on so that we could.
Yeah.
I'm behind.
Have we finished that subject then?
Yeah, we're moving on, I guess, to the approval of the proposed.
I'm sorry.
I guess we're moving on to number 3, but I guess we can't do the schedule quite yet, right? Is that what you were saying, Tim? We can't get the meeting schedule on approval for the meeting schedule because
Well-
we have some changes, right?
We went to number 2. Because we still have board members that are, I gotta be out of here in 10 minutes kind of thing. For votes. We do need to, all I did was take our meeting schedule from this year. And it's in your packet. We do have to approve a meeting schedule for next year before the year starts.
Okay.
So I just went like we have been doing, second Mondays of the month, 10 o'clock right here. That'd be February 12th, May 13th. Madam Chair, I'm sorry, we're on item 3, apparently. August 12th and December 9th as meeting schedules as the meeting schedule for 24.
Okay, thank you for doing that.
So I would move that for approval.
Any second to that?
I second now.
Moved in second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right?
Any opposition? Motion carried. Okay, we're moving on to approval of the proposed 2024 Wayne County Art Institution budget.
Discussion, Madam, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
That was also put in the package you received today. Our treasurer is not here today. And so I put this together. Revenue, the projected 2024, if people have the proposed budget in front of them, looks like this. Printed landscape.
I don't think I have mine.
Make sure people have it in front of them.
I'm not sure. Yours would be, I think, I have it here. I have mine. Okay. The next meeting is February the
Who
12th.
doesn't have one?
I don't have one.
Yeah, you were looking at other stuff when I was going through your
Oh,
packet.
hush
You got one?
No, I don't. I don't know where it is.
Good thing and Barb, you got one?
Can't find it. It's right here.
It's in the packet I gave you.
It's part of the DIA, the back of the DIA thing.
Thank you.
I'm just saying. I got it. Good thing I print extras. Okay. So,
Thank you for doing this.
Yep. Looking at our previous, the projected revenue from the millage for the coming year, and this is projected. Because we won't know till the end of the year. People are paying their county taxes right now. So we're not going to know till the end of the year what the actual revenue is going to be. But looking at 2023, it's right around 9.5 million is the projected revenue. So I took last year's value of all property in Wayne County, the report that we approve in September, when we notify local clerks or local treasurers to put the millage on the tax rolls that year. Everybody's familiar with that. And we get that report from equalization that says how much estimated taxes are going to come in minus the tax-free zones and all that kind of stuff that the commission approves, tax breaks for you, no, not you, but you. And then we go off of that number and we multiply it times what the millage is. And that comes out to be right around 9.5 million. Under expenses, I did put 500 in again. For some reason, I couldn't make 500.00 work in that box. I left a 3,000 for the attorney. And of course, we can adjust the budget as we go through the year for actual expenses. We're gonna have, we had some discussion of paying for the clerk of this, so I just left a number in there. Our audit is just under 8,000. This will be the third year. We approved a 3-year contract with the outside auditor, and we got 2 of those last year. This will be the last year, so we will have to look later this year in contracting for an outside auditor for next year. So it's right around 12,700 of total board expenses, and subtracting that from the amount of money that goes over to the DIA, millage revenue minus reasonable expenses of the board, which is what the law states. And then it's going to be just under 9.5 million estimate. So, Madam Chair, I would move the proposed budget with that.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
The $3,000 for attorney fees, is this prorated for next year? Is it prorated for next year? Because
I don't know what it is. I put a number in there.
okay, because the contract is more than that.
Yeah.
For
Well,
next year.
Go ahead.
I have not seen a contract.
Okay.
And we're gonna look at that under other such other matters. Item G. So I put a number in, not having seen a contract, and I haven't looked at the contract that's passed around today either while I'm doing other stuff. And again, I'm gonna leave that number. If when we go through the contract, it needs to be a different number, then we amend the budget to reflect that. But that's all these things take, is, you know, an amendment.
Thank you.
But until then,
Thank you for doing
I
that.
will move the proposed budget as written.
So it's been moved. Any second to that?
I'll second it.
Discussion. Yes, Madam Chair. In our previous meeting, Member Colleen, we talked about for parking expenses with the cost of parking the deck across the street being $25 for meetings. So that's $100 per person. That's about $900. I just rolled it up to $1,000 just for whatever. Our attorney expense, we said, was going to be $8,000, and that is reflected in this contract as well. And then my only question really is the cost of the audit, because when I read the audit content, it said that the audit costs $13,800, not $8,000. So I'm not sure of that. All of those roll up into a cost of or our budget of $24,000 as opposed to the $12,700 that is being proposed.
Yes, Commissioner Colleen.
Well, like I say, I haven't seen the contract. I don't know what the 8,000, if we want to amend it for the attorney to 8,000.
Mhm.
When it comes to parking, not everybody on this board uses parking. I don't use parking. You don't use parking. You don't use parking. So only about half the board actually uses the parking. And so that's why I left it at 500. Because not everybody uses, only 4 or 5 board members at most use the parking, but we still have to look at a parking policy. As far as the audit expense goes, the 13,800 or whatever you're referring to, that was the bill for the 2 years worth of audits. We signed a 3-year contract, and it was just under I thought it was just under 8,000 for each time. So that was a 2-year. So I left this number. I don't know if they're, you know, because you do agree with an outside auditor for an audit. And then if they run into some problems and they go, well, we had to put an extra 15 hours into that as a result, then it goes. So I just left the 8,000. But if we need to have 8,000 in there for our attorney, if that's a proposed amendment to the proposed budget, I will accept that, which would be good. Then we add 5,000 for a total of 17,700 for expenses.
I missed the 5,000 that you just spoke about.
Sorry,
Goes on to the attorney.
Okay. Thank you.
and then that would take us back over 9,500,000.
Mhm.
But anyway, we'll adjust those totals for the extra 5,000. So then I guess my motion would be, if everyone's in agreement, the proposed budget amended to reflect 8,000 for the attorney and then new totals.
I second that motion.
Been moved in second. All those that agree?
My second is still in.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's been moved
Sorry.
in second. All those in agreement?
Well, let's take thirds too.
But it might work for you.
Any opposition to it? Motion carried then.
Okay. We have a budget. We have a
Budget
schedule.
and a schedule. Mhm.
So that'll be up
Time,
on the
Madam Chair.
website soon.
At this time, Madam Chair, I need to excuse myself from the meeting. I have to go back over there to Fisher Upper in your district, Tim Colleen.
I didn't hear what.
I have to go back to Fisher Upper.
Well. Yeah. Over there at Heilman,
Mhm.
Speak English?
right around the corner.
Right, come and visit me sometime. I would love to.
Yeah. Don't go up and down the block.
It's okay.
We got people watching out on our block.
It's okay.
I'm 3 blocks from Fisher Upper.
Here every day. I'll see
Tell
you
your
guys.
husband and our leader, 11.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I've got so many papers in front of me. I've lost my.
Is this what you're looking?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's over. Such other matters as the maybe it's submitted before the board.
Yes, we have, Madam Chair, a contract for the attorney.
Okay. Is there anything else?
Well, we're gonna look at that.
When are we gonna look at it right now?
That's what we agreed to.
Okay, who's gonna lead that?
Madam Chair, I can lead it.
Please.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, let's make sure we all have,
Mhm.
because Attorney Perkins' law office brought over
Mhm. Some
9
additional
copies, but
copies.
they're
Oh, okay.
not with his signature on it. Do you have something different? Or is this just the blank
This is just the blank one.
from Corporation Counsel? Does everyone have?
I got so many papers.
I don't have one.
I gave them all.
What do you need one for? We're just gonna vote something and you're gonna be happy with it.
What are you
We
about?
don't-
So anybody need
Yeah, we need one.
a legal services agreement?
I can't, if I had one, I can't find
Yeah,
it now.
You did, we passed too much paperwork here. You good, Marie?
I'm good.
Okay,
I need another one.
Can I look at?
there's more for you. Who else? Blank
We're all set.
Wayne County Legal Services Agreement for anybody.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll go out on the corner and sell them.
Mm-mm.
Sell paper.
Here, get your blank legal services agreement. $42 today only.
Mhm.
Anybody else need one?
No, we're all
Okay.
set. Thank you. So who is going to lead this discussion?
Madam Chair, I will if you, yes, ma'am. This is a legal services agreement between the Art Authority Board and Perkins Law Group. And it is generally a standard agreement that the Corporation Counsel provides to secure services for external legal. I think the only area that we may need to go over would be Article 1, which is the term of the agreement and the scope of service. That would be the thing that pertains specifically to us. So under, unless someone objects to that and would like to go through more.
I do not object, but I don't know any other objections.
Okay.
Please proceed.
So, the 1.1, the agreement is for a term of 1 year commencing August 28th. We know that was back then through August 27th, 2024. We may need to adjust that, term to reflect our timing now.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
So that would be on what date now? Today's date?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Which is the 11th.
Correct. Through December the 11th, 2024, right?
And then it also states that we can renew the agreement for 1 additional year thereafter.
It's a 12/10/23 or 24, the day before.
Day before? Okay. That is a Sunday. Does that make a difference?
I don't know the rules on that.
Attorney Perkins, that make a difference to us with it being a Sunday, not a business day?
Typically if it's something that expires from a court proceeding, it would be the next
Business day?
business day. So if it's something expired, but as contracts go, although quasi-governmental entity, it could expire on that day and it could expire.
Mhm.
So for that purposes, it would probably be reconsidered on December 8th.
The 8th? Okay. Anybody object to that? It being Friday, December 8th? Okay. Member Colleen, you good with that?
Well, one more time.
So they changed
Just-
the date from here.
Oh, from August.
to
Yeah,
December.
absolutely.
Okay.
You mean you actually want your contract to be legal? What kind of an attorney are you?
And moving right along. 1.2, there are several services that the legal services that the firm will provide us. A is attendance at the offices of the authority as requested. So whenever we call him, he comes. B is providing legal opinions and or recommendations to achieve goals of the authority. So anything that we as a body have agreed to by vote, he would give us legal opinions or recommendations to either support that or to let us know where maybe our issues may be prior to making those decisions.
Thank you.
Okay. C, attendance at authority meetings upon request of the chair. So Madam Chair, if you ask our attorney to attend our meetings, he would be bound to do that. D, all consultation with elected officials and others as requested and as required by the authority. So if we needed to, for some reason, have a discussion maybe with the Wayne County executive or someone at the state level, or maybe even someone in some of the cities that our services are provided, he would provide us with consultation services for that. E.
Excuse me, when you
Yes, ma'am.
say us, it's not members of the board, it's elected officials. The language here says all consultation with elected officials. This is an appointed board.
So
So it
for
would
that
be
one,
with
ma'am,
us.
he might represent us if we decided that we needed for him to discuss with an elected official some issue.
And if I, real quickly,
Sure.
and that as at
Mhm.
requested by the authority.
As requested, yes, sir. Mhm.
So, Madam Chair,
Yes.
right,
Mhm.
you've got to make those phone calls. So without us requesting it, he's just not going to go around having meetings willy-nilly.
Right.
Right.
Mhm. E, preparation and presentation of all legal opinions as requested by the authority. So anything we turn to him and say we need an opinion on, he would provide that as well. F, consultations, negotiation, and drafting of contracts as requested by the authority. So any contracts that we might enter into with any other parties. He would provide not only the negotiation for that and the drafting, but also the consultation with that third party for us. G, attendance at meetings in Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties with other governmental bodies or agencies at the request of the chair or authority. So should we decide to enter in some type of collaboration or discussion or something that matter with Macomb or Oakland County, or even some components of Wayne County, he would attend those meetings at our request, and of course, provide whatever support we may need for those meetings. Okay. Then H, any other legal services that you, Madam Chair, or the authority as a body may request and are required under the relevant establishing legislation of our bylaws. And I believe that we've given you a copy of our bylaws and that as well. Mr. Perkins, was that a good review of 1.2
Yes.
as far as you can see?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone have any questions about 1.2 or any concerns? Okay. Going down to 1.3, the firm shall devote its best efforts to the business of the Art Authority. Any conflict between the firm's other potential or existing clients shall be resolved in accordance to the Michigan rules of professional responsibility. So if he has any clients in his client base that might cause some type of conflict between his representation of us and his representation of them, he would have to resolve that. Okay. 1.4, his firm recognizes and acknowledges that the Art Authority is a creation of the Charter County of Wayne County. The firm agrees and understands that we are pursuant to Michigan Public Act 296, that we utilize Wayne County staff and Wayne County facilities in the furtherance of our duties. He would also agree and understand that any and all duties, responsibilities, indemnification, or other benefits that might be afforded the Art Authority in this contract shall also be given to the Charter County of Wayne. I want to be real clear on that, I'm going to repeat it, that the contractor agrees and understands that any and all duties, responsibilities, indemnification, and other benefits that may be afforded to us, the Art Authority, in this contract shall also be given to the Charter County of Wayne. So in essence, he has a dual role to serve us as well as the Charter County of Wayne, which could include Wayne County staff, facilities, etc.
Yes, it's clear to me.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, on that, I'd like to hear from council on that last sentence of 1.4. We are an authority, freestanding authority. So how do you interpret that last sentence, that duties, responsibilities, indemnification, and other benefits that may be afforded to the Art Authority shall also be given to the county charter?
As a given, I provide a service into Wayne County and some of its some portions of Wayne County already. So I owe the county a duty in providing some legal services beforehand. So, but as it relates to that particular sentence, it just says, to me, it says that the same obligations that I owe the authority, I would owe the county of Wayne. So,
but why is that in this contract then? Because the contract is between two parties, your firm and the freestanding Art Authority.
Understood. And because I haven't seen all of the documentation that creates the authority until today,
yeah.
And I assumed from looking at that there's some tangential obligation that would be due to the county of Wayne. because it was created, it was born from the county of Wayne. So therefore, they're afforded some of the same protections and responsibilities and indemnifications as the authority.
Yeah,
To take it out, I don't think it harms this particular agreement because the reality is it's the same for me one way or another.
yeah, but I don't know if that's opening some doors.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
Isn't it an informational duty as opposed to a representational duty? That you are informing the county about what you're doing for the Art Authority, not doing for them what you're also doing for the Art Authority. You're informing them. That's how I would interpret it.
I
What,
think that reduces, I think that's a more palatable mechanism. Perhaps if we could just expressly state it, because it does leave it up to interpretation.
Other benefits shall also add the phrase for informational purposes? Or as a duty to inform?
As a duty to inform.
Madam Chair,
Shall also be
Yes,
given.
Commissioner.
I'd like to take a longer look at that rather than trying to do this on the floor here,
And I agree with you.
because I don't think an attorney for the Mental Health Authority has any particular duties or whatever, or other benefits that may be afforded to the Mental Health Authority shall also be given to the Charter County of Wayne. That is problematic language, and it's unclear what it means. I'm good with moving forward with the contract today, but I think that is a phrase we should be looking at and getting some clarity on, because actually you're giving benefits to Wayne County, and I don't know what they are. And we're a freestanding authority.
Perhaps you could just redact it.
We'll see.
that
I
was
think-
my question. Can we strike that portion?
If it's stricken, only thing is would be part of the minutes, and then it would be part of the, you could adopt the agreement and sign the agreement as is, cross it out, initial it. I think the person who's required to sign it would be the chairperson, after the vote. And then what we could do for, aesthetic purposes is have a redrawn agreement. There may be some other things that we have in here that you go through already, so. But yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
so we could strike that portion, and if the county or if legal, if the corporation council has an issue, then that would be something that we could take up with corporation council. I doubt that would occur, but yeah, it could be stricken and then initialed by the signers to this agreement, myself and the chairperson.
Is that an agreement? Are we all in that agreement?
I would make a motion, Madam Chair, that we do strike that one sentence. The contractor agrees and understands that any and all duties, responsibilities, indemnification, or other benefits that may be afforded the Art Authority in this contract shall also be given to the Charter County of Wayne.
Strike that.
Yes,
term.
ma'am.
Do we need to put anything else other than that in there?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
I don't believe so,
Okay,
but I do need a second for my motion, ma'am.
Support.
okay, it's been moved and supported. All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye. Any opposition? Motion carried.
thank you. The only other thing, Madam Chair, that I would bring to the attention of the body would be in Article 2. And that would be 2.1, because along with the scope of work of what our attorney will do, he should get paid for what he does. And 2.1, the Art Authority agrees to pay the firm a one-time fee of $8,000 for the term of this contract and the services set forth in 1.2 A through H above. In the event that legal services outside the scope set forth in 1.2 A through H are needed and accepted by the Art Authority in writing during the pendency of this agreement, the Art Authority will pay a designated attorney member of the firm the blended hourly rate of $200 per hour. The rates for a paralegal or law clerk shall be $75 per hour. So if we ask him to do something outside of those A through H scope of work items on 1.2, then we would incur a hourly rate of $200 per hour, and potentially in addition to a law clerk or paralegal rate of $75 per hour. Just wanted to bring that to the attention of the members of the board. I think pretty much everything else in the contract, Madam Chair, is stock language that is received from the Corporation Council for any attorneys that are hired by the county or any authorities. But those would be the items that would be specific for us.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could I address the board's attention to 2.5? No payment shall be made until this agreement, until such invoices have been approved by the Art Authority's executive director. We don't have an executive director.
Good catch, ma'am. That should be chair.
Mhm.
That should be chairperson. And it should also read, no payment shall be made for this agreement?
Under this
Under.
agreement.
Under? Okay.
No, that's right.
Under this agreement until such invoices have been approved by the Art Authority's chairperson.
And we have to do the same thing on the signature page. They use executive director there
I
as
saw
well
that too.
to change
Okay.
it to chair.
Okay.
Okay.
Are we all in agreement on that then?
Need a motion?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I just want to confirm with our about to be attorney.
Mhm.
So what I'm reading here, Attorney Perkins, is we're gonna hire you for $8,000 to look out after the scope of services here. And as long as we're inside those scope of services, then we're within the 8,000.
Right.
Are you keeping track of how many hours you're putting in under that?
Absolutely. I would still want to provide I would keep hours and track
Yeah.
hours just for the purposes of, we do it for different contracts, but it's always good to be able to show your clients, even when you have flat rate fee agreements, you want to always be able to show your client what you did here, what you did there, how long it took. And there could be, God forbid, there's some form of litigation that took place. There may be a basis for saying, listen, this is going to go and we're going to need to bring in outside counsel. And so you want to have that, but I would always keep hours, track the hours for you.
Well, no, what I was suggesting is, because that is 40 hours of work at $200 an hour to get to the 8,000. Are you keeping track? And if you're doing work under the scope of services, but you exceed the 40 hours, or you exceed the 8,000?
Right. Well, I looked at it as what the estimation was that it wouldn't exceed that.
Right.
But the reality is, if it went to 50 hours or perhaps even 60 hours, that wouldn't really give cause. I mean, I think we're all here for the purposes of something bigger than ourselves. So, I mean, if it became something onerous, like doubled it that amount of time, then perhaps I would approach the board and tell the board, here's the hours I have. I'd ask to be able to amend the agreement.
Okay, then this board member would be listening, but the only time the 200 and the 75 per paralegal clicks in is if this board asks you to do something outside of the scope of
Correct.
services. Okay,
Absolutely.
want to make sure everybody,
Absolutely.
when we sign on the dotted line.
But the reality is, you've got me for any of these things. You've got me for even if it's technically for all the time you need me.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Don't say that out loud.
Okay.
Somebody will take you up on it.
Well, not necessarily here, in private sector.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
All right. So where are we now? You're.
That concludes my review of the items that refer specifically to us.
I didn't know if you would need a general motion for 2.5 as Board Member Miller brought to our attention, the change there, and then also the commensurate change under the title of crossing out executive director, and perhaps doing that in a joint motion to subsume all of those
I'm gonna do
changes.
that.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Colleen.
I would, after discussion of this legal services agreement, I would move approval with 3 changes to the document in front of us that we discussed and agreed to. The last sentence under 1.4 on page 1. We're gonna strike that. We're going to,
You can strike the whole thing.
Madam Chair,
1.4.
on 1.4,
Got it. Okay, I've got it right here. But I meant the whole.
we're, okay, we already retracted that?
Yes.
Yeah. So then the 2 other things we need to do, I'm sorry, we already voted on retracting that last
Yes.
sentence. I'm sorry, I forgot we did that.
That's okay.
Is under section 2.5 to
Mhm.
change executive director to chair, board chair. And also on the last page, page 8, the signature line that we changed executive director there
And the date,
to authority board chair. I guess authority board chair is the way to say it.
and the date of the contract. From 12/11.
Yes. that's
Oh, we
what it
didn't
is.
change that either?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me start over. The motion is to approve the legal services agreement before us with 3 changes that were discussed. Section 1.1, the December 11th of 2023. And then the ending date is going to be
12/8.
12/8/2023.
4.
I mean, 4, that's next year. Okay, so under 1.1, we change it to December 11th, 23,
December 8th.
No. December 1, 20.
and then December 8th, 2024
Yes.
is when it. Okay, so everybody's on the date. And then section 2.5, changing executive director to authority board chair. And then on the last page, the signatory page, same thing, changing executive director to authority board chair. And that would be my motion to adopt it with those changes.
Quick discussion. I'm sorry, second and quick discussion. We also said in 2.5 that we would change that word until to under. So no payment shall be made under this agreement until such invoices ...
Yes, that's what I have.
You with me?
Yeah, that's actually a typo. We got to call
Yeah,
corp counsel and
Scrivener's
say,
error,
hey,
yeah.
guys, get your act together. Is this what you're sending out to everybody? Yes, that is
Yes.
under instead of until.
Yes,
Did I miss anything? Okay,
I second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. All those in agreement?
Aye.
aye.
Any opposition? Motion carried.
So just to be, I'm sorry, go ahead, ma'am.
Mr. Perkins, I'd like to
Yes.
thank you for making the arrangements to get these copies to us so we could take care of it
You're
today.
most welcome.
Thank you.
And the signing ceremony will commence immediately
It shows how
upon
efficient he is
this
up front.
meeting being adjourned.
I said it shows how efficient he is up front,
What?
how efficient he is so fast up front.
Mhm.
So he doesn't go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, that's why we're rolling the agenda.
Okay, good.
So we don't go on and on and on.
Okay, so now we are such other matters?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I would just like to thank everyone on the board for accepting me as a part of the board and
Welcome.
give me an opportunity to learn under all of you and participate. And I would specifically like to thank you, Madam Chair, for your leadership and your guidance. I would also like to thank member Colleen, who has taken it upon himself to provide the board with many things that the board needs to conduct its business. I think he's done an admirable job of going above and beyond the call of duty to assist us. And I'd also like to welcome our attorney, Todd Perkins. Looking forward to his involvement in what we do. I think he's showing his value already. And last but not least, I would like to thank our partners at the DIA for the great work that you do. I know sometimes it's not easy to deal with an authority, and it probably shouldn't be, because we are the oversight sometimes of what you do, but we appreciate everything you do. We're proud of the achievement that you made this year, being recognized as the #1 art institute. And I think that you all are doing great work, and I'm just very pleased to be a part of the authority.
Thank you so much for that comment and
Yes, ma'am.
for your participation. And we just,
Get up on that mic, Betty. We gotta hear you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just, excuse me. I want to thank you for bringing that up, because you just brought it to fruition to say how we work together. And they say when we work together, it's wonderful. So
Yes, ma'am.
I'm very grateful for this board and for all those that are set on it, and what we do for the community. So God bless us all, and we'll have a wonderful new year. And now Barbara has something.
I have under
Mhm.
other matters, I'd like to ask if this board can have copies of the proposed Oakland and Macomb agreements.
Mm.
Do you have, does the DIA have them?
Yeah, for purposes.
So we have a completed agreement in Macomb that I can share with you, and we are very close to having a completed agreement in Oakland.
Okay, and so when can we look for those agreements? Can you email them to us?
Yes, I can
All right.
email you the Macomb agreement this afternoon. We're very close to having a final Oakland agreement. I can email that when it's completed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Can I ask also, do they have members of the authority on your board also? And are they voting members?
The appointees to the DIA board are all voting members. Macomb does not have a dual role. So the authority members of the authority, the board appointees are separate. Oakland is the same.
If I could follow up on Maria's comment, the legislation says that DIA board members cannot be involved in the governance of the DIA. I thought we had a big discussion and voted on the fact that Renata and Hubert would be non-voting members. Nobody else has that recollection?
Closer. I recall that.
No, we did discuss it, but we never. and I-
Voted on it?
Yeah, and I think, and we discussed it several times. And that's one of the reasons I have provided in the past, and again today, what the state law is. This might be something we want our attorney to weigh in on.
Good idea.
Because there is a provision in the Art Authority Act about, I read it as conflict of interest. Not every attorney reads it that way, to say you can't be a member of Art Authority Board and participate in the governance of an art institution. So, but we have provisions for 2 members of this board to be elected to the board of the DIA. I read it as a conflict.
I do.
We can ask our attorney to take a look at that and
I think
and
that's a very
submit
good
our
idea.
opinion.
A very
uh,
good use of Mr. Perkins.
And I should point out, you can go to the Macomb County Art Authority website. Although it's not a member of their board, of their art authority, they do recruit from the general public. Hey, would you like to be on the DIA board? That's how they do it, right? So they're not electing someone from their own board, but they kind of facilitate a process of who in the public would like to do this. And I think Oakland does it the same way, I think. But anyway, you can I encourage people, go check Oakland and go check Macomb's website. And do a little compare and contrast what they're doing, what we're doing.
And that completes my comments. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So I think we're down to adjournment.
Oh, we're at public comment.
Oh, on public comments. I forgot about the public. Sorry. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, under such other matters, it was motion, but the agenda was amended by Member Miller to bring up parking. Are we going to discuss
Oh, that's
that?
right. Parking policy.
Thank you.
We're gonna pick that up.
Well, it seems to me that after 10 years, we ought to be able to have a parking reimbursement policy for those of us who drive in. We've done it, Marie and I have done it for 10 years and have never been reimbursed. And my read of reimbursement is that reimbursement is always going forward. We can't collect anything for the past parking, but we would like to commence it as soon as possible. It just seems fair.
Yes, Commissioner.
Madam Chair, I brought a written proposal to our last meeting. And after all the discussion, the proposal was withdrawn. I would certainly just take the same proposal and forward it to all board members to say, please look at this before the meeting, which I did at the last meeting, and I distributed it prior to the meeting. But if people don't read it ahead of time, then they get to the meeting and then all sorts of questions. What about this? What about that? So I will resubmit that proposal. Enormous amount of work went into that, looking at all of the parking facilities downtown and how they work and
Can
how
we
we
just do
can do
a
it.
flat rate? The parking across the street is $25 maximum. We always stay the maximum time.
Mhm.
And we could just do a $25 per person
Let me resend,
per ride, I should say.
As I
let
recall,
me resend the proposal.
your proposal, it was for a parking lot that was 3 or 6 blocks away. And I'm telling you, at 85, I'm not gonna walk 3 blocks.
Well, that wasn't the proposal, so let me resend it. And people can think about it between now and the next meeting and have some conversation about it. With perhaps other board members, does this do it? Does this not do it?
Or propose alternate parking.
Yeah, or propose alternate. Which would guarantee we won't get anything done till 2025. But that's okay. I will send that out once again. For the consideration of board members, what the policy is, but it kind of got axed the last time. And without somebody coming to this meeting. After that discussion. Which would have been a different kind of proposal. None of that emerged. So here we are at a meeting with no proposal at all. So I'll send it out again.
Yeah, the proposal is that per vehicle, $25 per meeting I would be satisfied with. I don't know about anyone else. You don't have to pay, several others don't have to pay. It's already included, right? So your $500 would probably cover anything that needed to occur during that year.
I've got a plug. We'll have to look at that too, because we're just not gonna. We have to get some sort of record of the parking for our auditors, right? It's just not, we can just sit here and hand out $25 at each meeting. There has to be some record that a service was used that we're reimbursing you for.
Absolutely. You would have
So-
backup.
So again, let me send it back out. I would have loved to have done it 3 months ago.
But
And-
Mr. Colleen, we didn't like your proposal.
And there's no new proposal before us today.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Oh,
That, and
It was
if you
discussed
put it
last
in a
meeting.
motion, Maria, I'll second it.
I'm one
you have
of
to be
those
on your
too.
toes about this policy.
Those two.
I propose that we allot $25 per meeting, per vehicle, not necessarily per person, for parking fees for the authority board.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved in second. All those in agreement?
Uh,
Ask if there's
So-
any
Discussion?
discussion.
Any discussion?
yeah,
Sorry.
so how do we know for purposes of our auditors that you parked your car somewhere.
You would have copies of, we could send you the email of our parking payment.
Well, see, that's why I think has to be in the policy too. Right,
So you want to
How
amend
that-
the policy?
huh?
You want to amend the policy?
I don't want to do it on the floor here and leave something open,
Mhm.
right?
We can have Mr. Perkins look at that.
I'm sorry, we,
Can we leave the motion on the,
Yeah.
complete the motion, and then if we have to change it, we can. You know?
yes,
after-
because they've been discussing this for quite a few
10
meetings.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so, and I'm one of those too.
Okay,
I don't know.
we're gonna take a vote?
Well, let's restate the
You wanna
motion.
Let's
restate your
restate it,
motion?
including the,
The motion is to offer $25 per meeting, per vehicle for the meetings that we attend for the Art Authority, in which case
Commencing today.
commencing today.
I'll second it.
Been moved in second. All
well,
those-
no, the motion was more than that. Cause how do we know what we're reimbursing with public dollars?
Absolutely, we will submit our payment
Receipt.
receipt.
Upon $25 upon submission of a receipt from your
Or-
parking?
Or a ticket.
Well, that would be a receipt.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking parking ticket. No, we ain't doing that.
No, I'm talking about getting a ticket.
Now, the only other thing here then is who's got the $25 to give you?
It's from our budget. These are costs incurred
Still.
by our board
That's right.
that we can
So who are you getting the
access.
$25 from? We don't have a checking account.
Why not? Can we put it into the clerk's office? Do they handle any of our finances? Who
Well,
handles our
What
payment?
I'm suggesting here, Maria, is what I've suggested before. That the treasurer give you the $25 and then the treasurer would have to claim that as a reasonable expense for purposes of our auditor. Somewhere you're gonna have to get $25. It's public dollars and there has to be a trail for that.
Exactly.
So,
And we've suggested that.
so I think the thing is that the board treasurer will pay 25.
Whoever pays the bills for the authority would be in charge of that.
So it sounds like, through the chair, it sounds as though we need to have a mechanism to submit vouchers to Wayne County Management and Budget or accounts receivable, because that's where payments occur. And then that would be forwarded to the treasurer. The treasurer will cut a check or something of that nature and get that back to us. But maybe our treasurer can work out the procedural steps that need to occur for the reimbursement to occur. But I definitely support the reimbursement of parking.
I think that's what it would take. See, we have to say the treasurer of this board will reimburse $25 for people to park.
Commencing today.
Well, the treasurer's not here, so good luck.
Mhm.
But we have to say that, and then the treasurer has to turn that in as a reimbursable expense. And that goes through commission staff. And the treasurer, the county treasurer would have to cut a check to our treasurer. Well, that's why we-
Procedure is, and,
Maria,
you know,
that-
we're not in a hurry for this. Oh, really,
Yeah.
we've waited 10 years. But just so that we have it on the record, that we can actually get paid for parking
Commencing today.
commencing today.
So that's a,
Yeah, you want me to repeat the motion?
no, all those in agreement with what she said?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition?
I'm gonna abstain on that. I'm not gonna stand in front of it, but
Mhm.
I don't like drafting these kinds of things on the floor at the end of a long meeting. And missing something and then people walking away and somebody else has to clean up
It's $25.
whatever mess is left behind. I'm with
in
you. I've been
10
bringing
years.
stuff for a long time, Marie, about getting this done.
Member Colleen, fortunately, we've got our attorney now who can let us know if we're out of bounds
The
or
motion passed.
what.
Yes, the
Yeah.
motion passed.
Okay, very good.
Any other public comment?
Through the chair.
No,
Um,
we're not.
we're not done.
I'm sorry.
I just wanted to remind the board, we're supposed to return to the DIE's presentation under exhibitions before we
Yeah,
end the
we're gonna
meeting.
finish that up too,
Okay.
when we hurried through it. Remember,
No, I don't remember.
we jumped through a little ahead of time because board members had to leave the DIA presentation.
Okay.
They didn't. You guys still want to do that?
Yeah, sure. We will, I know the meeting's gone long, so we'll go through briefly just a few of the exhibitions that we have up and one upcoming, and I'll turn it over to Judith Dolkart to do that review.
Thank you, Julie. We have two exhibitions on now that I hope you'll come to see. One is the 15th Annual Community Group Art Exhibition. It has over 100 works by participants in social service organizations from the 3 counties. Our studio art department works with, among others, Hannon Center, the VA, Mariners Inn, Grandparents Raising Grandchildren, Access Hope Dearborn, and Care of Southeastern Michigan. The works in the show are really delightful, so I hope you'll come down. The works themselves are important, but also important is the sense of accomplishment in doing it. And that's one of the important parts of that program. The other, and that opened on December 8th and it goes till January 14th. And it's in our education center on the first floor of the museum. The second exhibition is After Cubism, Modern Art in Paris, 1918 to 1948. That runs until January 7th of 2024. And this is an exhibition that draws on the DIA's prints, drawings, and photography collection and examines the way artists from the United States and the rest of Europe responded to French artists working in Paris and who devised Cubism. Many of them stayed with Cubism and others created their own idioms for making art. So it's a really terrific show. It's also on the first floor, opposite the John R. entrance, the Schwartz Galleries. And then finally, coming in February, we have Regeneration, Black Cinema from 1898 to 1971. It opens February 4th and runs until June 23rd of 2024. This is an exhibition of an untold story of how African-American filmmakers, actors, screenwriters worked outside of the studio system, which was necessary in the very beginning, and then worked within the studio system. The exhibition also in its own way tracks the civil rights movement and the ways in which African-American actors and filmmakers participated in the civil rights movement, had a very public platform by virtue of their positions and their fame, and how they attempted to assist the civil rights movement. The exhibition comes to the museum from the Museum of the Academy of Arts of Films and Sciences. So, and in other words, the Oscar Museum. And it'll be a tremendous show. In addition to the works in the show, which include clips of films and art from contemporary artists, the DIA is organizing a film program to go alongside of it. So many of the films for which you'll see just clips in the show, we'll be showing in total in our auditorium. So I think it's going to be great. It opens in February, as we say, runs through June of 2024. And the film program will run throughout the whole run of the show. Thank you.
Thank you. That's wonderful information. I just want to say that I think that the DIA is doing a tremendous job, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. I know we all are. And we thank you so much for all that you do. Any other
No comment.
comments? Have a wonderful,
Public comment.
public comment.
We have to go from,
I think the public fell asleep.
such matters. Well, no,
We've gone through such other matters. We are now on public comments. There are no hands on Zoom.
I didn't hear what she said.
There are no participants on Zoom wishing to
Okay.
make public
All right.
comments.
Thank you so much for all the work you do too.
well,
behind
make
the
a
scenes.
call for public comment. Maybe they are not ready.
Public comment?
There's nobody on Zoom.
We wore them out. That's a good one.
We bored him to sleep.
Think it had anything to do with our discussion about parking?
Betty.
What?
Do you
Yes.
have an email that I could send that to you?
Yes, I'll give it
Okay.
to you.
All
on
right.
card.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. I'll get it for you. I'll find it.
What do we do?
We need a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
With your
Aye.
Yes, I did.